Orchard Park North Y. Buffalo Bills owner Terry Pegula set off a wave of reactions this week after revealing that the team's coaching staff was the driving force behind the selection of wide receiver Keon Coleman in the 2024 NFL Draft. Pegula's comments came at a press conference following the firing of head coach Sean McDermott, and they have drawn both criticism and confusion from fans and analysts alike. During the Wednesday news conference, Pegula interrupted a question directed at Bills general manager Brandon Beane about the lack of offensive weapons, especially at wide receiver, to make a point about Coleman's selection. "The coaching staff pushed to draft Keon," Pegula said. "I'm not saying Brandon wouldn't have drafted him, but he wasn't his next choice." The owner's remarks were unexpected, not just because they publicly highlighted a point of disagreement inside the organization, but because Coleman is still on the Bills' roster and under contract for 2 more seasons. Critics say Pegula's public attribution of blame to both the coaching staff and the young receiver is unusual and potentially damaging to team morale. Pegula made it clear his goal was to defend Beane's reputation after questions about the team's roster construction. In his telling, Beane showed team player qualities by agreeing with coaches who were strongly in favor of drafting Coleman, despite other options on the board. However, Beane later attempted to clarify the situation. "He was my pick," Beane said. "Terry's point was that we might have had a different order of personnel versus coaching, but ultimately, I'm not turning in a pick for a player that I don't think we can succeed with." The 22-year-old Coleman, a second-round selection, 33rd overall, out of Florida State, has struggled to meet expectations. In the 2025 season, he caught 38 passes for 404 yards and 4 touchdowns in 13 games, and spent stretches off the field, including multiple games as a healthy scratch. Bills officials have acknowledged that Coleman's challenges have not been purely on the field, with Beane noting that some issues stemmed from maturity and off-field matters, something the team plans to work on in the offseason. The reaction on social media and among Bills supporters was swift. Some fans criticized Pegula's decision to air internal franchise disagreements publicly, arguing that it unfairly places blame on a young player who is still developing. Others expressed concern that the remarks could complicate team dynamics entering a crucial offseason. As the Bills enter a coaching search and prepare for the 2026 season, Pegula's comments have brought added attention to how decisions are made within the organization. Whether this discussion about Coleman's selection shifts roster strategy or impacts his future remains to be seen, but the spotlight on the wide receiver room is likely to remain intense throughout the offseason.